Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be going over some of the 2.10 update information that was released to the community today. We're going to dive into it and get you everything you need to know, so let's get into it. Alrighty, it is 6 a.m. for me. Plarium's gonna kill me with the release times that they send this stuff out, but it's alright. I need to let you guys know as soon as possible, so I'm gonna crank this video out and then maybe take a nap or something. But alright, let me pull this up and let's go over this. So I know your first question is going to be, when is this going live? We don't know the exact date, but our most recent information we've been given in terms of when to expect the patch to actually hit is going to be the end of July. It's currently July 14th, so sometime in the next 10 to 15 days probably is when this will actually hit live. It could always be delayed and end up being a month from now, so just keep that in mind. Nothing is set in stone in terms of the release date, but I would guess in about 13 to 15 days, somewhere in there. So, all right. We've got, hey Raiders, update 2.10 is reaching final stages of development, and we are eager to share some of its details with you. We've already mentioned the upcoming Tag Team Arena edition, the Bazaar, in previous highlight. It is a feature that will allow players to purchase powerful items for currency they earn in Tag Arena battles. New accessories, another cycle of the daily login rewards, and a brand new way of summoning champions that will be introduced as well. So read on if you would like a sneak peek of what the update has in store. So some of this stuff has been data mined and kind of teased within the community on Reddit and in certain videos and stuff in terms of champion summoning from cards and points that you acquire. So it's good to see that we are finally getting that confirmed in this post. All right, so new features, the Bazaar. Starting from the update 2.10, every Tag Team Arena victory will award special currency called gold bars. The more battles in the series you win, the higher your Tag Team Arena tier, the more gold bars you will receive. And as you may have guessed by now, these gold bars will be the currency that you need to buy items in the Bazaar. However, your Tag Arena tier placement does not just affect the number of gold bars you earn per victory, it also allows you to access additional slots in the Bazaar. Same logic applies here. The higher your tier is, the more slots you have available. Of course, items in gold tier slots will generally be much better than those in bronze tiers. So, all right, a few things to go over here. You can see that the rank thing on the top left, this shows bronze, and then down here, this is going to show like gold tier for the sacred shard. I don't like this. I don't like attaching a rank to the rewards. I hope they just scrap that. Like, sure, like in Classic Arena, how you earn more points for your Great Hall as you rank up. I'm okay with that to incentivize ranking up a little bit, but don't have a lockout in terms of acquiring these items. Like, people in bronze tier should be able to save up for a sacred shard as well. I don't know why they're locking this out based on tier. There's already the incentive to rank up because you get more currency. I don't know why you have to lock people out. So I hope they reconsider that. I don't agree with how this is structured, and I hope they consider altering that. It's kind of weird to, there's already incentive, so why lock people out based on rank? They're already gonna want to rank up. There's really no reason. If somebody in bronze wants to save up for a sacred shard, let them save up their gold bars and do so. So I don't understand that, but let's move on. After purchasing an item, that particular slot goes on cooldown and will not be refreshed until the cooldown runs out. We don't really get a whole lot of information here about the cooldowns. We're going to have to wait and kind of see when that goes live. Like, if you buy a sacred shard, is it a month? Is it a week? And we don't know how many gold bars you're getting per win. So I don't know how much 24,000 gold bars is. I don't know what that actually quantifies. I don't know if it takes a week to earn that many gold bars or 6 months. We have no spectrum in terms of the actual value of these gold bars. So a little bit tough to see until we really dive in and get some battles in on the live system. But okay, new accessories. 2 new accessory types will also be made available in the Bazaar. The mechanics they have are a mix between artifact sets and the classic accessories you've seen so far. There are 3 items of each type, and the special effects from these accessories stack if multiple accessories of the same type are equipped. And like always, each accessory has its own rarity, rank, and faction. Okay, so we're going to be getting accessories that are basically just straight up better than the current accessories in the game, where it's just a ring, amulet, and banner, and there's no other effect. It's just what the gear is. This is going to be that same thing, but with an added set bonus based on how many of each set you're wearing. So on the refresh accessories, it's going to be 5%, 10%, 15% based on how many you're wearing, 1, 2, or 3. And then that is going to prevent a skill from going on cooldown after use. So you have somebody use a high impact skill in the arena, they're wearing 3 refresh artifacts, there's a 15% chance they can turn right around and use that skill again their next turn. So that is insanely impactful. It is kind of a low chance. Even if you have all 3, it's only 15%. So it's not something you can really count on, but when that ability does proc, it's going to be absolute craziness. That is so impactful. Then we've got the cleansing set. This is a little bit less impactful, but a little bit more likely to occur. So it's 8, 16, and 24% respectively to remove 1 random debuff from the wearer each turn. I like the design of this a little bit better because it's a little bit more consistent and but less altering. It's still powerful, but not ridiculous like the refresh set. The refresh accessories are ridiculous. Like if that 10 or 5, 15% procs, that's crazy. That can just straight up decide a match. Cleansing, on the other hand, isn't that impactful, but it is much more likely to occur at 24% instead of 15%. I would almost make this all the way up to 30. I would have it be like 15, 22, and 30 on the refresh, and then I would have this. The percentages are okay. I think 5, 10, and 15 is structured pretty decent. I would buff the cleansing a little bit. A 24% chance on 3 of them to remove a random debuff might not be quite enough to bring it into line with being as good as the refresh one. You'd probably rather go that route and give yourself a chance at the cooldowns, but it can depend on the champion and how impactful their abilities are and all that. So generally okay with those 2 things added to the game. We don't know how hard it's going to be to acquire them. They are Bazaar purchases and stuff, so gonna be tough to get good sets of those for sure. And then both accessory effects will have a unique visual cue, so you won't miss it. Now, there's been some misconception that there will be a visual cue on your champion aesthetically just by wearing them. I don't think that's the case. Like, you're not gonna have some aura around your champion if you're wearing these artifact sets. I don't think. I think what they mean by that is when that ability procs, it's going to be some visual cue of it happening. I think that's what they mean. I don't think it's going to actually change how your champion looks in game. It's going to be a visual cue when the effect actually procs and happens. And since older accessories do not have special powers like this, you won't even have to worry about sacrificing anything for these cool buffs. Yeah, that means that basically they're just straight up better. So if you can get a hold of a set of these, they're just straight up better because there's really no downside to equipping them over the previous kind of normal accessories. All right, and then daily login rewards update. A new cycle of daily login goodies will be added to the game with update 2.10. Like before, previous items and champions will remain available to all players. This is to complement the daily login reward system. So these champions are going to extend after the end of the current daily login reward system that ends with you getting Sill of the Drakes. These are going to be the next layer of that. So it's going to be 30 days after that, 60 days after that, and 90 days after that. It's a 90-day extension to the daily login rewards. I believe that's how this is going to be kind of implemented here. So we'll quickly go over these. I did hash them out when we first kind of saw them teased, but that was a lot worse of a teaser. We couldn't see the cooldowns of the skills and stuff. We still don't have all the information we need. We can't see the booking process. We can't see how it affects the buff and debuff chance, the damage, and the cooldown. So Some of these things you have to kind of guess on what the cooldown will be when it's booked and stuff. So I wish they would show the whole ability so we could see the impact of books. But I'll quickly kind of grade these champions in case you're curious. So the Epic Ogre and Tribe here, one enemy, 50% chance of placing a leech. I'm sure you'll be able to buff this up to like 60 or 70% with a few books probably. Not a bad A1. Placing leech is a pretty decent debuff now after its rework. So the A1's okay. And then we've got this AoE that has a 60% chance of placing the big version of decreased attack or decreased crit damage. So it's going to be a little bit of a sustainability there on AoE. I'm sure we can book this to a 4-turn cooldown, maybe even a 3, but it's tough to say how that'll be structured. If you can book it to a 3-turn cooldown, it's pretty solid. At 4 turns, it's okay. And then we've got another AoE that places a continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns, and an additional small version of continuous heal for 1 turn if at least 1 enemy is hit with a crit. So, okay, we can probably book this to 5 turns for sure, maybe 4. That's a pretty big cooldown just to get AoE continuous heal. So I would like a little bit more utility out of this, but I guess it depends how hard it hits. If it hits hard, then it's okay on a 5-turn cooldown, but that's a pretty big cooldown for continuous heal. And then we've got ally defense and faction crisp by 30%. So in terms of Ogre and Tribes, he'll be pretty decent for faction wars as a healer and helping your team sustain and take less damage. But other than that, the cooldown is going to be too big to count on this for decreased attack in the clan boss. The A1 leech is pretty decent for the clan boss, and then continuous heal is okay. But yeah, an alright champion, not like a complete trash can, but nothing great really. And then the next one is going to be the Epic Demon Spawn support, and we've got attack 2 times at random, heal all allies by 3% of the champion's HP with each hit on targets under a decreased speed debuff. I really don't like these type of qualifiers in general. It makes these abilities a lot worse and a lot less consistent. But attack 2 times at random and heal all allies by 3% on each hit. So a potential to heal all allies by 6% of max HP. It's pretty realistic to probably get this champion to 50,000 HP, which will be a heal of 3,000 if she had 50,000 HP, because you would heal 1,500 twice, so it'd be a 3,000 heal if you had 50k HP. That's okay. I mean, it's an AoE A1 heal. I mean, that's not trash, but it's not good. And then we've got attack 1 enemy, 50% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed. So at least she places her own decreased speed on the target for 2 turns, and then she can also place it AoE if the attack is critical. And we can probably book that to a 3-turn cooldown. So at least there's a little bit of synergy there. And then the passive decreased damage all allies receive by 5%. The champion will see that damage instead. Basically, the Bulwark passive for free, just kind of as a passive on the Bulwark mastery, not passive. I always call the masteries passives because I come from Diablo 3 and they were always passives, but they're masteries. So the Bulwark mastery is just kind of for free here as a passive. And then this champion, and then if there are multiple champions, yeah, so it's literally Bulwark. It's just the same thing. Okay. And then increase ally HP and faction crisp by 30%. Again, I don't think this will be very good. This looks like mostly an average epic. A 3-turn cooldown AoE speed debuff is okay for dungeons and faction wars. Not going to be really usable at all for the clan boss. Anything past the early game, but I mean, it will be okay for faction wars and dungeons, just not great. And then we've got the Void Legendary. Attack 1 enemy 2 times. Each hit with an 80% chance of filling or of decreasing the target's turn meter by 10%. And then fills this champion an equal amount of the target. So we're going to be able to book this to a 100% chance of decreasing target's turn meter by 10%. And then filling hers by the amount lost. So 2 times each hit. So you could realistically decrease the turn meter by 20%. This will be really good in the Fire Knight. It's a multi-hitter that affects turn meter and also fills her own. So in any sort of a Fire Knight team where you're trying to prevent the Fire Knight from taking a turn and bringing his shield back up, it'd be good in that scenario. Then we've got an AoE that we can probably book to a 3-turn cooldown and book to a 100% chance of placing a decreased speed debuff for 2 turns, and then places a shield buff on this champion equal to 20%. I wish this was ally utility instead of just this champion. I mean, she's a void legendary, so the abilities should be pretty impactful. So yeah, I wish this was place a shield buff on all allies equal to 10%. So nerf it, but make it all allies equal to 10% of their max HP for 2 turns. Then we've got places a provoke debuff on the target for 1 turn. Also places a 50% ally protection buff on all allies except this champion for 2 turns. I wonder if you can book that to a 3-turn cooldown or not. That'll be interesting to see. Increase ally defense and faction crisp by 37%. So, all right, single target provoke with ally protection. And then AoE decrease speed with self-sustaining shield and self-turn meter manipulation on an A1. Will be pretty good in faction crypts. Not like godly, and as far as a void legendary is concerned, I don't think she's good enough to justify being a void legendary, but she is a free reward in terms of daily login rewards, so they're probably not going to structure her to be like a Siphi or a Sir Nick or something because she's a free reward. But yeah, I would definitely make the void legendary a little bit better. And then these 2 champions, the first one's probably a little bit better than the epic demon spawn. I don't think is going to be very good. But yeah, all in all, I mean, yeah, I don't see anything to really write home about or get excited about. I mean, hey, it's an extension to the daily log rewards, so it's a good addition to the game. It's free champions for the player base just for logging in. So I'm a little bit more okay with the structure of them not being god tier based on that, but I think they could be a little bit better. I don't think that would hurt anything to give them a little bit of love, but these champions definitely aren't going to really change the meta or anything. And then we've got champion fragments, which is going to be a way to summon champions outside of shards. That's pretty big news. This is going to be a big addition to the game, and it could be a really good addition to the game if it's done right. We don't really know yet until we see it go live and see what champions are able to be fragment summoned and how these fragments are earned and how hard they are to get. Has potential to be very good for the game. I hope they implement it right, but we've got tired of performing elaborate shamanic rituals to appease the RNG gods and summon specific champions you want. This new feature will allow you to make your life easier. From now on, you'll be able to earn champion fragments through tournaments and events through the list of in-game activities providing them may be expanded in the future. That was a weirdly structured sentence there. Unless I'm crazy, that seemed like a weirdly structured sentence. The champion fragments you collect will be indefinitely stored on your account, and you'll be able to access them via the portal in the fragment summoning tab. There you can see how many fragments of various champions you have. Should any of them reach 100, you'll be able to summon that champion. Now, I wonder if each champion is going to have their own separate fragments that you summon towards, or if fragments are going to be a universal thing, and you can save them up and spend them on any champion. I'm not 100% how that works here. It looks like fragments are just a general resource, and then probably the champion in the summoning portal that's available to be fragment summoned will change and rotate in and out. They may do events for certain champions, and then if you have the fragments, you'll be able to spend them, and it looks like you can't like super hoard them. This shows that your fragments are limited to 100, so once you have 100, you're capped, and then you can either use them or wait for the next champion to see if you like that one better or something. I'm kind of going off what I can here, but it's hard to know exactly how this works. You won't have to spend any additional resources on that summon. No gems, no silver, nothing. You got fragments that you need to summon the champion. Keep that in mind. It will be exactly like a normal summon or fusion, and the champion will be level 1 and have no ascension. Okay, so yeah, I mean, hard to know exactly how this was going to work. I was hoping the fragment system would be a dupe system, so you could acquire fragments when you summon dupes, either rare, epic, or legendary, and then use those fragments to summon a different champion. That would have been a great way to do the dupe system, but it doesn't look like that's what this is going to be. It looks like this is going to be you earn fragments in tournaments and events. It doesn't seem to be any sort of a dupe system, so that's a little bit unfortunate, but this still has potential to be a good addition to the game if they do it right. Then we've got some miscellaneous stuff here. A tiers tab will be added to the tag team arena. It will display available tiers and your current placement. Okay. Arena rewards button will be added on the arena map. Okay, cool. Long requested moderators will appear in the game chat. Okay. And then important note, an AI change that will stop Arbiter from attacking rank 1 champions instead of using her turn meter boost is going to be changed with update 2.2. So this is update 2.1, you see. So that's not, it doesn't look like that's going to be a change coming up right here. It looks like that's going to be a change in 2.2. So expect that in 3, 4, 5, 6 months down the road. That's the abuse of putting a level 1 champion in your arena defense, and then if they auto their arbiter won't turn meter boost. It will run in and kill the level 1 champion. So it looks like this says will be an update 2.2. This is update 2.1. So it looks like that could still be a thing for a few months to come until we see 2.2 coming out. So I wish they would have gotten that in here on 2.1, but yeah, you're gonna have to kind of keep an eye on that. If you're fighting in the arena, be careful of those level 1 exploits on your arbiters and stuff, and do the best you can to kind of avoid that. But yeah, that kind of does it for this video, and I will link to this post down below if you want to go through it and look at it for yourself and kind of read through it on your own time. And I did my best to kind of give you some context in terms of what I'm reading and kind of what it means and my first impressions of it. But until we see some of this stuff go live, it's tough to see exactly how it's going to be implemented and if it's good or bad and all of that stuff. So I will keep you guys up to date as soon as we see this stuff go live. We will get in game and give you a reaction on exactly how it is. Be sure to let me know down in the comments if I missed anything that you think should have been noted, or if you disagree with me on how good or how bad I thought the login reward champions were. I always enjoy hearing your guys' input and kind of reading through it all. So yeah, as always, have a good rest of your day. Thanks for watching. Peace.